Good morning and hello and welcome. Bienvenido. Seja bem-vindo. I don't know, welcome. I don't know how else to say welcome, but hello everybody. Welcome to my Ecom Club, the Freedom Call. This Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. These calls take place Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. They take place now in two different places. I go live on YouTube, so you can go back and you can watch on the My Ecom Club YouTube channel. If you're not already following it, make sure that you do, because from our event, from the summit this weekend, I am going to be going live a few times. So if you are not already following the My Ecom Club YouTube, call in right now. That's no good. All right, so good morning everybody. But yeah, so should be back live again on YouTube, live on Facebook, and welcome and good morning to you guys. Good morning, Robin. Good morning, everybody else. As you guys hop on, make sure that you say hello, drop a note, say hi, let me know that you're there. Seems we're a little bit slow with everybody coming on today. These calls, again, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The Freedom Calls here on the My Ecom Club page. Tuesday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Brock and I go live. We do Q&A. Thursdays, Teo normally goes live. I think Teo this Thursday is going to be traveling, so I'm not sure what time his call will be. The Shop of Friday, we're going to do a portion of live from the event. I'm going to have Brock do part of it. We're going to do it from there, so it's going to be a little bit different than normal. So I'm excited for that. With that, guys, I hope everybody's live. Something's going weird with my Facebook today. If the audio is good and everything's working, please let me know. Drop a note in there. Let me know what's going on. So a couple of quick notes, guys, as we get going. Again, this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the summit is going on in South Florida, in Fort Lauderdale at Cypress Creek at the Sheraton Suites. We're going to have all sorts of training. We actually have, I think, more mentors, more of our training, our mentors coming this weekend. Yeah, Mel saying can't hear because she's at work. Well, it's good to see that you're on. There's going to be more mentors, I think, coming this weekend than just about any time. We've got, along with myself and Brock and Teo, we are going to have George is coming in, Mathis is coming in, Anthony, Jimmy, and I just got word I think we're going to have one or two others coming in. So I'm real excited about everybody being able to be there. Our success team is there. So if you guys are registered for the event, if you are registered, go ahead, drop a note in there and say, yes, I'm coming. And I want you guys to pay attention, because later on today, I'm sending out an email with a video and a survey attached. The survey is for you if you're coming to the event. Real excited about that. Wanted to get a little bit better idea kind of where you guys are at, what's going on, and how we can help you get the most out of the training this weekend, so we can kind of assess what's going on. All right. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, Carol, Evie's, James, Mitchell, Jerry, Jess, good morning to all of you guys. It's a pleasure to have you on. It's weird because my live is showing that I only got one of you on, and I know for damn sure I got more than one person watching and listening, because we got like 10, 13 different comments on here. So listen, guys, I wanted to talk to you today about freedom. Okay, I wanted to talk about that, and there's a reason for that. Because over the course of the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I've spoken one-on-one with a number of mentors that I have personally. I've spoken with some members that I've mentored. I've spoken with some of you guys, and we get on all the time and we talk about freedom. What I want from you guys to begin with first, and I want to prove a point here. Eileen, Evie's, Tammy, good morning to you guys. Do me a favor, right? If you're on and you're live, and even if you're watching on the replay, now just a few minutes in, I want you to type in to the comment section. I want you to tell me what your definition of freedom is. If you could use one or two words, maybe a quick little phrase, I want to know what your definition of freedom is. Okay? Freedom is something that means something different for every single person. It's different. How I'm going to define it, and look, you know, someone that maybe has served in the military is going to have one definition of freedom. Someone who's had people that have served in the military is going to have another definition. People that are sitting down and they're trying to start a business, they're going to have a definition of freedom. If you're single, if you're married, if you're widowed, if you have children, if you have a companion, if you're getting close to retirement, everyone's got a different definition. And I want to know yours, because I want to show you guys why this is important. So James, freedom from negativity. Tammy saying no boss. Guys, what are your definitions of freedom? right? I'm going to give you a quick little background and let you know why I say that. Because I'm 39. I've got 5 kids. I'm now engaged to an absolutely amazing woman. I work from home. Freedom to me means something. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what that means, but I'm going to tell you why it's important to understand freedom for you. Jimmy's saying life without limits. And Jess is saying limitless life. So pretty close. But I promise if you guys were to have that conversation, then what you would say is Jimmy's definition, even though we're talking about life without limits, and Jess is saying a limitless life, even if you guys were to combine and converse, maybe Jimmy's talking about, living life as if he were an X Games participant on ESPN, and he was snowboarding and he was skydiving and he was bungee jumping and he was doing all sorts of crazy stuff all over the world. And Jess is just saying that she doesn't have to wake up to an alarm clock and she's able to take care of her family, or she's able to just travel or do whatever. Everybody's definition is going to be a little bit different. So Robin, good, totally debt free to travel, buy what I want, when I want, need it. James, 8 kids. That's a lot. Not having to answer to anyone about what makes you happy or comfortable. Infinite potential. Good. The ability to live without limitations. So without limits is it seems to be pretty common. SBL, my question to everybody here is, what does freedom mean? Now, the definition of freedom, if you were to go into Webster's dictionary, is very specific, and honestly, I don't have it right in front of me. But freedom, the ability to live life without being chained down, without having a master over you, without having, limitations placed upon you, without having... People think that running your business and being able to enjoy yourself means never having to do anything. Here's my definition of freedom I'm going to share with you guys, and then we're going to talk a little bit about it, and we're going to talk to you about some things that you can do to develop the sense within yourself to know that truly you can be free no matter where you're at. And the sooner that you adapt that mentality, the quicker you're going to be able to achieve that. Okay? So here's a couple of quick things, right? John saying the ability to use your time as you see fit, debt-free, no pressure. All right. So my definition of freedom goes along with what you guys say. Right? Freedom to me means that because the first thing that almost everybody thinks about is financial, right? One of the first things that we all talk about. So freedom means that I'm generating enough revenue from my businesses to pay for my obligations and to allow me to put money aside for things that I want to do, right? So whether you own a house or you rent a house, there's going to be revenue that's required to pay bills, right? You still have to pay electricity. There's still going to be taxes. There's other things. So there's always a certain amount of money that has to be there to take care of that. So freedom means, first, the ability to take care of my financial obligations, right? I mean, we can agree to that. Whether it's slowly paying off debt, whether it's paying it off right away, right? It's slowly paying off my mortgage, or it's paying it over time. I have enough cash flow coming in from my businesses. Now it's my online businesses, it's my, my real estate, whatever it may be. I have cash flow taking care of what I need it to take care of, right? So that's the first thing that freedom involves. The next thing is freedom of choice. Now, freedom of choice, I want you guys to understand that freedom of choice is something that you have now. It's something that you already own. Mrs. G on YouTube, hello to you. Freedom of choice is something that you guys have the opportunity to take and leverage and apply in your life, but a lot of you guys are scared to do that. You're scared to make choices. Now, here's a question, and I want you guys to answer this again. So we've defined infinite potential and good, all of these things, the ability to live without limitations. Crystal, I would argue that right now, every single one of you has infinite potential. You have the ability to live without limitations, and that many of the limitations that you place upon you are done so by you. So why, right now, do you not have freedom to make a choice? You always, every single day, the ability to choose what you have and how you react to it and what you go out and do every single one of you right now has the freedom to make those choices. Right? So Carla, to be able to wake up and not have to worry about finances, this is where a lot of everybody's idea of freedom is focused on this debt, right? And I know it's hard because we've all had it, right? But if the focus is always on the debt and not the freedom, if the focus shifts to, instead of debt, if the focus shifts to cash flow, the focus shifts towards enough cash flow to allow me freedom, all of a sudden my choices change and my actions change based on that. If I know I need, let's say between home, car, business, whatever, if I know that there is, let's say $2,000 of debt and bills every single month, and some people are going to have more and some people are going to have less, but let's add up those debts that we have in order to live. If we have that and we can create $2,000 or $2,500 or $3,000 in cash flow from our businesses, I would argue that that would give you freedom. Right? Now, ultimate freedom to be able to do whatever you want is a little bit different, right? And there are levels to freedom. But I want you guys to really assess where your life is and look at it. If the focus is just on the debt, oh my gosh, how am I going to take care of it? What am I going to do? I need to do this. Then what we start to do is we start to shrink within ourselves and we focus on scarcity and we focus on need as opposed to focusing on the ability to create more. High performers, highly successful people, and what helped me kind of break out of never getting beyond a certain point was a shift in my mindset. When I started to change the way I approach things, it didn't mean that the debt went away. It didn't mean that the stress went away. What changed was my approach to life and how I spent my time and what I went after and my enthusiasm for work. Because work right now, if your focus is on debt, if your focus is on the shackles that hold you because you don't yet feel free, if the focus is there, then you hate going to work and you hate sitting in front of the computer and you're frustrated about it and it causes stress. That's why so many people don't like their jobs, because they feel completely out of control, because they feel like the only reason that they go to work is so that they can service that debt. And if your focus is on the scarcity, and if your focus is on the debt, and your focus is on the stress that's there, then forever, my friends, will you feel frustrated with this process. And so freedom of choice starts with how you approach what you're dealing with. Okay? So that's the next thing, right? We talked about freedom. Defining what freedom is. You've got to decide that you're going to go after and you're going to pursue and you're going to build and you're going to chase cash flow. You're going to chase that positive. You're going to chase what it's going to take to get over that hump so that you can experience freedom, right? And the freedom of choice means the way that you approach it. Now, the next freedom is freedom from the judgment and the repercussions of the way other people will see you. This is one of the hardest things that we have to break, because we were all raised with a family and we've got friends, and some of you guys have moved past, the things that people say, but some of you guys still deal with a loved one, a partner, a spouse. You deal with children that tell you you can't do it. You deal with people that say, oh, that choice you made was silly, it was stupid, it wasn't right, it's not going to work for you. How many of you feel like you're still shackled because you're worried about what you're going to do based on what other people are going to say? In order to become free, you need to step back and you need to understand that you are the only one that's in control of your life. And if you want to truly live without limitations, if you want to truly become free, you need to allow yourself that control within your mind and within your heart. You need to feel in control of your decision, and you need to own that decision, and you need to then own the process that will come with it, independent of what other people will say. So freedom from that will also include, guys, the fact that many of you because I've dealt with this too. Many of you are scared to succeed because if you truly do, you're worried about what your friends or what your parents or maybe a sibling is going to think of you, because they're going to judge you harshly because you broke the mold. You got past this ceiling that your family's always been in, right? How many times have we heard that? And good, Robin and Patricia, you do set your own destiny. But I want you to sit back, every single one of you, I want you to recognize, I want you to think about when you grew up. And I want you to think about those blueprints, those things that people taught you as you were growing up, the things that they said about success and about education and about working and about, learning how to be this or that, right? And I'm going to use myself as an example because and I hope you guys pick something up, but I want you to think about when you were growing up, how many times your parents said things along those lines, what society teaches us. You need to get to school. What are you going to study when you get out of high school? What are you going to do? Who are you going to be? I remember having that conversation. And one reason this stuck with me so much, right? I want you guys to think about one or two of those conversations that you had as a youngster that helped form who you became. I had a conversation with my dad. And I remember him talking to me and him saying, you know what, Andrew, you need to learn how to be a good manager. Learn how to be a good manager. Not just learn how to do stuff well, but you need to learn how to be a good manager. Your mom and I never learned how to manage stuff. And so since we didn't learn how to manage stuff, all we've been able to do is work hard and get here. If you learn to be a good manager, you're going to be successful. And that stuck with me. And it stuck with me really because it was one of the few conversations my dad had with me that went that deep into things. And it was also one of the last conversations that I ever had with my dad. And so for years, any job that I got, I became a manager very quickly because I learned how to manage and I learned how to talk to, employees. And whenever I got in, I wanted to learn the system and I wanted to learn the way the company did it. And I wanted to be a good company man. And the thing is every time I became a good company man, I was a manager, but being a manager still meant I was always working for someone else. These things that my parents had told me for success inevitably put some extra handcuffs on me, and it kept me from getting to that next level. Even when I started my own business, I learned how to be a good manager. I never learned how to be a good business owner. And so there were huge hurdles that I had to overcome. And so in order for me to become free, I had to free myself from those blueprints that my parents had taught me. I had to free myself from the things that they had thought success was. And I had to learn real success principles. And so it's been years in the process. Recognizing where you're at and recognizing what you need to really be free and where your focus is. Guys, if your focus is on the frustrations of friends and family, if your focus is on that 9 to 5, if your focus is just on the debt that you've got, and I recognize very well how difficult it is to turn your eyes from something you've dealt with for 30 years. Many of you got started in this because of that 9 to 5 or the 60, 80-hour work weeks you've had. Many of you started this because there was debt to deal with. Many of you started a business because there was something more that you knew you had to achieve, but you have always felt trapped. But if your focus is on that trap, the freedom is never going to truly come. And I hope that makes sense to you. This is again where self-awareness comes in. This is again where delving deep into why you do something plays out. This is why having, like Robin is talking about with Carla, they've created a group of accountability, a group of friendship, a group of support that has helped lift every single one of them in a lot of different ways. And I know that they've helped each other, not just with their business, but in other ways. But guys, you've got to define freedom for you instead of just a life without limits. Sit down and write down what your limits are right now. What are the limits that have kept you from going forward? Is it your parents? Is it the kids? Is it maybe your spouse? I'd venture to say that many of you, what's truly holding you back are the thoughts that you've had of what is possible for you. You are in control of your own destiny. You are capable of breaking through any limitation that is there. So here's what you guys need to do, and I can go on and on and on about different things that will help you, defining freedom and freedom from this and freedom from that. But you guys need to sit down and you need to define freedom. You need to do a brain dump. I've talked a lot about brain dumps over the last couple of weeks. You need to sit down and you need to write freedom, and you need to write down every single thing that freedom is there. Then you need to write down limitations, and you need to write down what you feel is limiting you. And keep writing and set a timer for 5-10 minutes and write the entire time. And if you start writing gibberish, then damn it, allow the gibberish to come out. But guys, you need to write all of those things down. You need to write them all. You need to let it get out. And then you need to sit down and you need to be quiet for a minute and really think about it and figure out what it is that's keeping you from having the freedom that you deserve. Because learning how to market and learning how to advertise and learning how to run a business online, all of that's important. Learning how to find the right product, that's essential. But guys, freedom doesn't come just from that. If it did, then a number of virtual assistants would be free. If it did, then just about anybody that learned how to market online would be free. I know people that make quite a bit of money that haven't learned what freedom really is. Learn what freedom is for you and then chase it. And decide if that freedom is worth putting your heart and soul into. Because I promise during this process there will be obstacles and you will walk through fire. And eventually you will burn down and it will not be easy to get back up. But you can. And you can absolutely rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenix. Guys, I love you. Again, real quick, just because we have a bunch of people that came a little bit later. First off, how many of you guys are going to sit down today and write out what freedom really means for you? Define it. And guys, do not go with your first, off the cuff answer. How many of you guys are going to go deep into what freedom truly and really means for you? Right? How many of you guys will write that out today? Yes? No? Let's go. How many of you guys are willing to write out what freedom really means for each one of you? Good. Robin is going to do it. Good. SBL, freeing your mind was. Carol, hopefully you will. How many of you guys are going to? Now, guys, if you are registered for the event, I am going to be sending out an email later today that will include a video as well as a survey. Please make sure that you fill that out. Be ready for this weekend. If you have any questions, feel free to message me here on Facebook. You can also find me on the Slack group if you are there. But a lot of excitement. Good. We got some of our people on YouTube. They are going to be writing out what freedom is to them. Guys, define freedom for yourself. Make it a reality. Go chase it, and we want to help you get there. Love you guys all. We will talk to you soon. This is Andrew, and I'm out for today. Bye-bye.